Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Today, we're returning to Assetto Corsa, returning to the vintage sports car races hosted by SROL. We have the 1966 2 hours of Spa. It's been a few months since we did Le Mans. But yes, and this time we have something a little bit quicker than what we've driven in any of these races so far. We have the legendary Ford GT40. We're running the Mark I here. It is one of the top class cars. First time in the top class for myself in one of these races. But yeah, one I'm very much looking forward to. It's going to be quite tricky. I've never done a race around Classic Spa before. I've done a few laps, but it is very few beforehand. So had a bit of practice. Struggling a little bit, I must admit. But hopefully we can have a good race tonight. Welcome all. We're just in the middle of qualifying. It's a 1 hour qualifying session for the longer lap. So did a bit at the start. Got some clear space, put an alright lap in. Knew I had a bit more pace, but struggled. Been struggling to just get a little bit more, but then made a little mistake and been struggling to sort of get that get a lap in. Traffic, of course, being an element, but still have 20 minutes here in qualifying. I will get going for a lap. And let us head out. Hopefully we can have a good little stint. And get ourselves a little further up the grid. Massive field for this race, and I do mean massive. It's a full 52 cars for tonight's race. Thinking the race might be 31 or 32 laps. But yeah, it's going to be hopefully a fun race. But it's not going to be an easy race, that's for sure. These races never are easy, just with how much these cars move around. You really have to fight them. Of course, back in the day, another very long street circuit, much like Le Mans, but a bit more technical, I would say. A few more corners to challenge you. Some corners having zero room for error, such as this right-hander. Some you can get away with a little mistake and it won't ruin your race. We have a little bit of clear track in front of us, which is nice. A little bit more now, with the car in front making a mistake. track is also a little bit grippier than it was when I did my initial laps, by about 0.3% of grip. Should just make it that little bit easier to improve. With 5 laps of fuel on board. Biggest braking zone of the entire lap as we head through the source. Some of the few corners it's barely changed. Not too difficult, the traction zone on exit. By now make the way, blast down to a Rouge. A lot more braking than there is in modern day. It's a bit tighter in this classic variant. Up over the crest of Radion. Try and keep the car straight as you put all the power down. Making our way down Camel Street to the Com. Of course, where you'd have a right-left chicane. Here, you've sort of a right-hander into a longer left-hander. A little bit messy through there. Then we're out onto part of the circuit. Well, streets will still exist, but not part of the circuit anymore. A little bit wide through there. Into this long right-hander. Gotta be careful, you don't want to understeer this part as you'll hit the house if you do. And the corner just tightens. They want to keep it to the right-hand side into this left-hander and keep it to the left as you enter this right-hander. Carry as much speed as you can as you get on to this sort of first of long straights. I say straights, it's not that straight, but it is easy flat out. Heading towards what could be described as a chicane. It is a bit of a chicane the way you take it. Heavy braking for the first apex. Try and get the car settled. Car braking traction a little bump, but settles it. Costs us a little bit of momentum out of the other side. You can take the final part flat out if you have the car settled and positioned correctly. Now towards this right-hander, 200 board. It's not that long of a corner, this first part, but it is quite sharp compared to the rest of the track. And then you have this long right-hander. It's much more open, but it just carries on and on. Can't let the car run too far out. Now we're starting to head towards the modern circuit. Flat out through this little left-hander, but we want to keep the car to the left. Set up this right-hander. Take as much of the inside as you dare. Then into this next right-hander. Again, you want to carry as much speed as you can. So now make the run towards Blanchemont. Where we rejoin the old track. I've turned in a little bit late there. Left myself tight for the first left-hander. And then heavy on the brakes for Blanchemont. Very different to nowadays, but the corner very similar. Just how you approach it, completely different. Now make our way towards where the bus stop is currently. Back in these days, just a fast left-hander. Don't run too wide, those hay bales will effectively kill you. Then heavy onto the brakes for what today is the first corner, but now it is our final corner. And we go on for another lap. not quite improving on that first lap. But of course, as the fuel comes down, the track still evolves ever so slightly. Should be able to find more time. Better exit out for the left-hander there. Oh, I did not get the car turned in there at all. And there goes that lap, unfortunately. Might be hitting a little bit of traffic soon. We could back up a lot. That one car through. We've got about a 30-second gap. There's no guarantee someone else isn't going to fill that space. Like how much more speed we carried through that chicane that time. The time is there on the table, we just need to grab it. Hello Eddie. Speed around here is terrifying, it absolutely is. Can't imagine doing this in real life. You're coming up to this left-hander, look how close you can get, you know. Imagine being in one of those sort of Marshall posts. You'd be terrified for your life. It's a house. I mean, Marshall posts like that, just little barrier. All there is protecting the marshals. Ten minutes left in session. Here we go for another lap. That wall on the left-hand side, the bridge, as you head through a rouge, quite scary. Much better rouge and Radion. Finding some time. Gotta be really careful with the rate transfer through that section. Hopefully we have the straight line speed to get past this car. before the chicane coming up. Grab a little bit of slipstream, but it's not going to be too helpful. They'll get some slipstream, which might help them a little bit more. Wide of that first apex. Carried all right speed through the second part, but could have carried a little bit more. Still have a couple of cars in front of us. Hopefully we don't catch them at a bad point. But that very well could happen with the part of the track that we're coming up to now. I could have gone for a move there, but it would have felt very rude. That loses us a second. Not the perfect entry to this section. Isn't too bad. That leaves a little bit of time there. But we did jump up to 5th place with that lap. Don't think we're going to get much further, but we have a couple of laps to try and improve and solidify 5th place. We're stepping out the entire way from braking zone right to the apex of that left-hander. GT40 is fun. Running a little bit wide there, costs us momentum onto this flat out section. But yeah, GT40 is fun. It's kind of like the other cars, the Nissan R380 and the Porsche 906 that we've driven before, but just more straight line speed. Braking a bit sooner into that chicane, but carrying more speed through to the exit. And we're nearly level with our Delta. We know we have a second to gain. We shouldn't catch any traffic this lap too. Front right tire complaining that entire braking zone, just wanting to lock up. There is that second. Maybe could have been a little bit more. But it is so difficult just to pick up every 10th here and there. Being quite messy through here, but go by run through Blanchemont. Just gotta keep it clean. Maybe could have been a little bit later on the brakes. Actually give up about a quarter of a second through the source. Still gonna be a good improvement. So there's maybe half a second in it. We could get closer to the car in front. I don't think we have a chance of going any further than that. Again, the rear just sliding out on entry, dragging the front of the car with it this time. Oh no, that's wide. And there goes the lap. Just get back to the pit since we're in the middle of the track. Yeah, let's have a little look at sectors. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of time in first sector, a little bit of time in the final two, but that's not too bad. Definitely get more comfortable with the car being able to just push it that little bit further, but as we get towards the race, of course we do have maybe maybe 8 more minutes till the race begins. Do you have a little moment? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Currently sitting P5. 3 of the 4 GT40s in front of us. 1 Maserati as well. I'd like to see where the other GT40s. I think there's 6, so there should be 1 more. Hasn't got a lap in yet, though. 2 drivers still yet to set a lap. I mean, for being a 4-minute lap time, what top time's 3:44.5. There's 30 seconds a lap. Spreads the field. Of course, you're going to have to start thinking about the race. The race is going to be 32 laps at most. Now we can get 17 laps of fuel in without having the car go under minimum weight. So we'll probably do 17 laps, and then we'd want 15 laps. So we'll probably want 103 litres for our second stop. 103. Let me check what are the tire pressures so I can put them in. 29, 30, 29, 29. 29, 30, 29, 29. And I'll put some in that have tire pressures just at different fuel levels. Just in case we do need to switch around, and so I don't have to adjust the fuel by 50 clicks. Yeah, setup is mostly the default setup. I've gone to this gear ratio, 19.7. It feels the most suited. Tire pressure is obviously slightly adjusted. Fuel, of course. The alignment, dampers, drivetrain, generic are all the same. Suspension, we've just lowered the car as much as it will go. And yeah, that's what we have. Oh, we've been bumped back down to P6. So, yeah, not the most competitive in this car. Yeah, well, 6 seconds. 6 seconds off the top time. Blimey. I want to say a lot of that is in setup. But, yeah, there's no way to know for certain. I'd say there's maybe a second in the lap. At least with my driving. Someone else could maybe find another, you know, I mean, other people definitely would be able to find more time. A lot of modern racing, modern cars and high downforce cars to it that has me a bit out of practice. 3 seconds, 3.1 second, yeah. So I suppose we're only 2.5 seconds off of third, or the second GT40, which isn't as bad if you look at it that way. So yeah, I think that is everyone done. There we go. Ticked over. Start for this race. As always with these classic sports car races, it's a single file rolling start race. We are running up to the marshal post at the top of Radion. So it is quite short compared to what we've had at other tracks. And we are only going at 50. But yeah, let's just double check fuel. Yep. Ugh. Yeah, all I want from this race is really just have a clean, fun race. Hey, Artie. Join us just as we're a few minutes away from getting started with this race. So yeah, gotta be careful in the opening lap. Tires will be cold, under pressured, and they take about half a lap to come in. Quick look down the starting order. The field is split into 4 classes, so it is. GT40 and Ferrari 250 not getting a lap time in. One last check of the fuel. Oh, it's going to be a tricky race. And by the way, the fuel number you will see in the box just to the left of the tyre wear will be showing laps remaining. Laps remaining in the fuel tank for the race. Oh, it looks like one of the GT40s didn't press drive. Oh, they're there. So used to these formation laps being quicker. It is fairly short. And away we go then. Front hasn't had the greatest of starts, but gonna be difficult to make a move on this opening lap with cool tires. and a lot of fuel on board. Like a GT40 in front running wide. Of course, don't know what everyone else is doing on fuel. Might be running a bit more fuel than us, might be running less than us. But a clean start, which is great to see. Looks like it's been cleaned up and throughout the whole field. Still in a line. So that is good to see. GT40 in front. Getting close to those high wheels on the exit. Oh, one car's ran out wide into the wall. Oh, and that has caused a massive crash behind, unfortunately. I think that was the only non-Ford GT40 in front of us. Car in front had to check up as they were right in the back of the other GT40. And they've just compromised each other. Oh, that was a little bit of lag there. Concerning. And GT40 trying to put themselves into our door. Somehow we survived that. I just locked up at the end of the braking zone. But we're going for the traction on exit. But we're up to P3. Survived the start. Got a good opportunity given to us. Now you want to try and break the slipstream. But don't want to push too hard trying to do so. Could absolutely be braver through that long right-hander, but safe rather than sorry. Oh, a little bit wider. Car behind's ran much wider into the fencing. That gives us a bit more of a gap. much on the inside there. Car behind is closing in a little bit. I think we'll be just close enough to get some slipstream. Bit wide for the apex there. Still quicker than the car behind. Car behind, the one to run deep this time. Oh, rear end. Really sliding around there. Don't have the pace to quite keep up with the cars in front. I took it a little too safe through there, maybe. Do have one car catching us up as well. I think it might have been the car that made a mistake onto the fence last lap. A little bit wide there. Putting the car behind under pressure again. A little bit wide on the exit of Blanchemont. Change of position behind. Concertina effect in full effect. full display, I should say, through the source. Got the car a lot more settled for that left-hander, able to carry so much more speed out. Again, just being safe through the exit of that long right-hander, the sort of little S's, and bringing onto this flat-out section. Just don't quite trust the car enough over the bumps. Turned in too late there. Like that, changed position behind. We compromised the car behind us, and they've lost out. A little bit wide through there. Using all of the road in a little bit more. That first right-hander. Welcome, Dave. Now this is racing, no safety barriers. So if you make a mistake, death, it is indeed. Fighting side by side behind us. And again, they've swapped positions. I just carried a lock up into that left-hander. Not too far from reaching traffic now. Oh no. Got away with that somehow. I just locked the front left. At least there's no Daves to forget to break into T1. Welcome, Dan. Honestly, do not trust myself side by side through there. Just how sketchy these cars are when you're by yourself. Let alone when you're having to leave space to go too wide. Welcome, Dan. just a little wide there again. You can see how the car in front just trusts their car a little bit more, able to carry a little bit more speed and place it exactly where they want to. Fortunately, that has dropped out outside of slipstream range. Maybe if they start fighting again, we can get ourselves back in. Or that car can die. That's two cars in front of us, so we've had diatom right-hander. I didn't know trauma was going to be part of this race experience as well. Didn't know we were going for that level of realism. But yeah, Dave's point well on display there. We're very lucky indeed not to get caught up in that. That gives us P4 again. Too wide there. Cars sound wonderful as they're accelerating out of the source. And you can just hear them as you make your way into the source. So 5-odd second gap behind us. The cars behind us, a little bit quicker than us. One of them being the car that crashed on lap 1. Oh, I'm so lucky to get away with that. It is mixed cars. If you go into the description, I've put a link to the entry list. Four different classes. $52 entrants in total. as always, in the description. There's also links to the mods being used. Our first couple of lapped cars in front. So despite the mistake we made, still another personal best. Just locking the fronts into a rouge. Still got through not too badly. That's a bit scary, to be honest. I can see how much time we lost last lap from that mistake. That was quite a bit of grass, a bit risky. We'd like to catch this car before this right-hander. This is one of the cars that has the straight line speed of us at the top end. Has the power, has the grunt. But the cornering capabilities. That make our car quicker. Thankfully, I think they lifted a little bit to make that a bit easier. Always appreciated. I'll get that car as well. Snatched the front left quite early on in that braking zone, but still got the car stopped. We are going to have to make a pit stop this race as we see one car in pit lane there. Oh, big snap there. We'll be making that in 10 laps. Just clipping the grass on the inside. Getting the rear end to kick out. Bit of understeer there. I was a little bit worried by understeering into the house. Not a good line through here. I haven't done a super long stint, to be honest. So I don't know what to expect in terms of tyre wear, if I should change tyres or not. I think I might just be safe and do it. Last thing I want is to be making a mistake later on in the race because from getting caught out with tyre wear. Lap car in front making a mistake. Thankfully doesn't get in our way. Always a little bit scary when you see a car starting to spin like that. Good line through there. Car behind is certainly going to be keeping us honest throughout this race. A little bit of a lock up into that first right-hander. That's not a corner you'll get away with a mistake. You run wide, you're immediately into that house. If you hit one of those houses, you are losing tons and tons of time. That was messy. Not too far from catching up to some more lapped cars. I was about to say car behind has really picked up the pace then. I realised there's changed position, a little bit of understeer there. Oh, well offline through there. And I realised two cars behind have switched positions, though both of them still quicker than us last lap. Ran a little bit wide in the first part of that corner, but got in for the second. Starting to get a little bit of rear tire wear. So, yeah, that solidified my decision on taking a tire change. So just gotta be wary of that. Rear right tire also starting to wear, just a little bit behind. The rear left. I don't know why that car was so far over. Entering that right-hander. If they were trying to leave the racing line open for me, well, they just hindered both of us. Per multi-class etiquette. They're behind. Starting to catch us. Can see them in the rearview mirror. This is one of the Porsches, I believe. Moves out of the way. I'm glad they did as early as they did, as I was about to turn to the right. Any later and that would have got quite awkward. Car in front as we lap them, running a bit deep into the source. Holds us up a little bit awkward. A little bit slow into the corner, just trying to carry the speed out of the corner of the left-hander there. Oh, and some understeer laid on. X in there somewhere. Car behind, I think one of the Maseratis. Didn't get a great run through the chicane. Gained a little bit of time there. Just noticed the car behind him has disappeared. So I wonder if they've gone for an early pit stop. Catching up to a bit of lap traffic. I think this is going to be quite awkward timing. I think they made that easy for us, which I respect, because I was not very confident in that move. I didn't really want to make it, but I had no choice. They were sort of begging for it to happen. Oh. And front right tire is, rear right tire was destroyed. I think we have to, yeah. Oh no, we do get to go out immediately. That's a mistake as ring all race. Just a bit of understeer. We clip that hay bale in. Yeah, that costs us a whole lap, so it does. And I don't think we can quite make it to the end from here. I think because the game reset us just before I could hit the pits button, I think that's the reason we didn't have to wait for any controls lock time, which is quite nice. Yeah, but we're now 14 seconds behind that car that we were fighting. Plus, because we got teleported to pits, the lap doesn't count. That's why we're one lap down. Now we get to do a bit of hunting, which technically we were already doing, but instead of it being on lapped cars, It's now for position. We of course will gain some of the time back when everyone pits, but I think, as I said, don't think we can quite make it to the end. So it'll be a splash and dash for us. .70 and a half minutes remain in the race. And a little too quick into the source. .17 seconds and to the next car. Look at me, media. No, setting the car on fire was not intended. The increased track grip as the track rubbers up this race is actually quite noticeable now. You know, the fact that we're back on to the fuel that we started the race with. And the pace hasn't got any slower. catching up to 3 cars here. Side by side in front here. Just started to lock the front left. I was getting to the point where I needed to turn in. Had me a little bit worried, especially on that tighter line. A bit of understeer late in the corner there. A few more cars in front of us, only one of these for position. Let me have the inside, appreciated. Just couldn't be too confident about that. Didn't want to make any assumptions and then cause a crash because I did. Acceleration here. Just about do. On the E-Type, I believe that is. Just about got slowed down for the source. Now, had a car just come out just in front of us. From the pits. I think it might be in one of the other GT40s. Especially looking at the fastest lap time. Only 0.2 slower than ours. That was close to the outside hay bale. Ooh, a good run through that section this time. Look how far up we are on our delta. That was scary. I didn't know whether to go for that move or not. I didn't think it'd be so easy. Turned in a little too early there. Right, we're halfway through the race, just under 1 hour to go. Race is looking good for 32 laps, so we'll be completing 31 of them. Most likely. If we don't have any more issues. Let's be into the 49s then. Just about. Back out of that move. It's going to be a risky move. And with the yellow flag. It did not make sense risking it, just in case someone was spun in the middle of the corner or on corner exit. We'll use straight line speed there. Went in a little too quick, car was understeering in that early part. And with just that long corner. Oh, understeer there, oh dear. Oh no, I just tagged them. Oh yay, that's over the map. Wait, I can just do this. And I mean, good news, we can make it to the end of the race now. But that does set us back, unfortunately, once again. Again, understeering there, the tire's not quite bedded in yet. Got away with the tap on the fence, but just hit the bank. Ooh, big snap as the inside wheels clipped the grass. Don't know, but a blue flag came up there momentarily. Still got a good gap in front of the race leader at this point. And to anyone behind that might be lapping us. Maybe a little too good on the brakes that time into the source. Just about gonna get this car. Had a very good run through that chicane as well. I was brave enough through that right-hander. Really leaning on the front left tire. we've got 74 seconds to catch the next car for position. Apex in there somewhere. Judge that braking zone pretty well. A little bit of a slide on the way out. We're just stepping out a little bit on the entry to left-hander, trying to carry speed in. With increased track grip and just how much more we're leaning on that front left tire, it is getting a little bit overpressured. Hard to set the pressures for this track. Of course, you've got quite a few straights. Of course, with some of the fast right-handers around the track, you're really pushing that front left. Then you get, then you have parts of the track where you're not really pushing the front left, where it gets to cool down a bit. So from that final right-hander, you know, front left gets a break until the long right-hander. That's sort of about a third of the way into the lap. Interesting lines into the source. Good run through Rouge and Radion. Put this lap together, could get into the 48s. A little bit wide, but gathered it up. Not a great run through there that time. Just so difficult to get the precision right. Leader has taken our pit stop. They're about half a lap behind us. So hopefully should be able to stay just one lap down. A little wide of the apex there. Still carried good speed. Give kind of a little bit more speed on the exit there. Got a good run through that right-hander on fastest lap so far this race. It's a good final sector, to be fair. Apex in there somewhere. Still got good speed through. A little bit of a lock up there, which puts us a bit deep into the source. Yeah, new personal best, 49.3. Car in front, if I remember correctly, was the one that was just behind us early on in the race. And then just suddenly disappeared. Seems like it was a mistake or so. A mistake or an issue that caused them to drop back, as we now are converging once more. Oh yeah, last lap was a 5:13 for them. Maybe a bit too tight on the entry and early part of the right-hander. Carried a bit more speed out of that, out of the sequence that time. Yeah, I think that is the person. The 50.7 fastest lap, or personal best lap, rings a bell. Okay, more speed this time. Did understeer a little bit wider, but kept the speed up. Okay, a little bit more speed through that right-hander this time. Seems like their car had a mistake up in front. I think it's the car directly in front of us now. Okay, more speed out of Blanchemont. Certainly got the car turned into the source. This is going to be our first 48-second lap. That car going a bit slowly through Erosion Radion. Up to 22nd now. 37 minutes left in the race. Okay, good speed through the long right-hander and through the little S's bent. Leader just set a fastest lap of the race. A little bit of understeer through this long right-hander. Maybe just went in a little bit too quick. Quite a bit of traffic in front. 3 cars in front. 2 for position, 1 a lap down, 1 a lap ahead of us. In 3rd overall. Car in front, P19, I think. having a moment on the exit of this right-hander. Not enough acceleration, not long enough of a run to get ahead of, I believe this is a Porsche 906 before a Rouge and Radeon. Not the easiest of moves, that one. You know, not much of a difference in acceleration. Three cars for position in front of us now. Up to 18th. A lot of straight line speed to make that move. So that's P20. Just gonna be a little too late to catch this car. Oh, a big snap of oversteer on the exit. That's just going to make that move a little bit more awkward. pushing the entry of our region quite a bit there. Find a little bit of time, but certainly a little bit of risk in that. Just the edge of the road. Hooking it up with the inside wheels, but unsettled the car. I wonder if we'll be able to get 47 before the end of this race. Ooh, that's a bad line through there. Just enough space to avoid hitting the house on the exit. "27 minutes to go." Up to lap a car that just made a mistake through Blanchemont. Oh, that was a bit clumsy there from the car we've now just overtaken for P18. Did get held up, nothing they could do about that, not their fault. But then just misjudged their braking into the source, ran it in deep, and then for good measure tied the car that held them up on the exit. Oh, that's way too quick. I'm lucky to get away with that. Guessing I just misjudged the brake pressure. Oh, like that. rear end snap for the car behind. And how long it took them to get the car settled again is just twitching back and forth, left to right. They were pushing to try and get a good exit there, to try and get into the slipstream and maybe be close enough for a move. But at the end it was just pushing a little too hard. Up to a couple of flapped cars. Or just one for now. Just open the gap a little bit further. Could have carried more speed through there. Very good on the brakes. A little worried for a brief moment as going to hit the wall on the left hand side there of the bridge. Right, just need to keep it clean and we should pull away from the car behind. Might not be quickly, but we should pull away. I think it's the front right tire screaming there as it's heavy on the brakes. And yeah, car behind has made a mistake and it will not be us pulling away slowly. Maybe pushing a little too hard to try and keep up with us there. I was hoping the inside line was going to open up there, but did not. Just had to wait and be patient. So 3 cars we could potentially catch. "27 seconds to one of them. Or to the frontmost. And that would get us into the top 15. Okay, rear tires are starting to wear out again. just something to note that the car might just be that little bit more oversteery. Or the balance, it might just shift towards oversteer a little bit more for the rest of this stint. A bit wide for the apex there. Less than 20 minutes remain. We're 5/6 of the way through the race. Just a little bit more to go. Car in front getting the rear end out, looked like through the source. Fighting the rear end through Rouge and Radeon. Maybe just evidence and effect of those rear tires starting to wear out. Rear end certainly moving around for the car in front. Car banking a good run through that section. Keeping up with us. Closing in a little bit. We'll get good slipstream. Bit of slipstream is a reward coming onto this straight, but as we get to the higher speeds, just doesn't have the power to keep up, even with that little bit of slipstream. And then, of course, falls out of the slipstream. Not carrying as much speed into that section, but carrying a little bit more out than we did on our fastest lap. Coming up to a lapped car here. That's just going to be in a very awkward spot. Oh, that little lock-up too there, coming into one of the sharper corners of the track on a tight line. Yeah, that was not nice. Front left tire starting to wear out now too. So just gotta be careful, even though his fuel is burning off. The track continues to rubber in. We're not going to find pace so easily for the rest of this race. Less than 15 minutes to go now. Seven and a half seconds behind 15th place. Carrying too much speed into that left-hander, but got the car gathered up. Car running slowly there, just on the apex, very awkwardly. Must have a lot of damage. Looks like these two cars might be fighting for position themselves, and it's not sort of a clear cut, oh, one's faster than the other. Yes, okay, one was 2.3 seconds quicker than the other last lap. But the one being caught does have a quicker, fastest, or personal best lap of the race, so a little bit more potential, perhaps. That was too close, too close. In the slipstream. There's the part. A little bit rubber banding from that car. A little bit concerning, but not going to be an issue for us. So that's 16th place. A little bit of locking there. A little bit deep, but not by much. We'll get away with that. Felt like I was going to sneeze there for a moment. I was like, just don't sneeze into a rouge. Nice little freeze frame there coming into this left-hander. Less than 10 minutes remain in the race. Leaders last lap set new fastest lap of the race into the 44s. Mental pace. Could maybe even get 43 before the end. If traffic allows them. They're just crossed the line, so they will have 3 more laps. We do have 14th place that is like just on the cusp of being reachable. That car just how sideways they were through the first right-hand part. Concerning me a bit. Yeah, depending on kind traffic is just not making any mistakes. We could maybe get 14th here. Whew. Skid across the grass there. Though that car has just set their fastest lap of the race. Yeah, because then we caught that traffic at an awkward point. We lose a bit more time from that mistake. So as we cross the line, 20.5 seconds. We need 10 seconds a lap, really, to catch them. Which really means we need 3 personal best laps. No mistakes. No bad traffic. It's been a good start to this lap. Seven tenths up as we get to this long right-hander. Bad run through that final right-hander. Didn't carry good speed onto this straight. We've got 2 lapped cars between the car we're chasing and them. Oh, I just locked the front left. Give me a real bad line through that chicane. That's cost me a second. A second we can't afford to lose. coming up onto our first lap car. Oh, it looks like this is going to be awkward. Oh, we're so lucky. Don't hit that hay bale again. Not quite getting the 10 seconds we need this lap. Two laps to go. We're only a few tenths short, mind you. Of course, we do need a little bit of time to get the move done. Six tenths up this time as we get to this long right-hander. Again, not a good run through there. Just a little bit difficult to see. That corner's just sort of shadowed a bit. I don't trust the car over the bumps too much. Good run through there. If traffic doesn't get in our way, we could be on 447 here, which would be great for trying to catch the car in front. Nah, we can't cut them at a bad point. That's cost us nearly a second. I mean, I could have risked a dive there, but it would have been stupid. Way too risky. Time runs out, but the leader has already started another lap. Just about pulling the car up for the source. Car in front did a personal best lap of the race, so will we. It's all going to come down to this final lap. We gained 10.1 seconds last lap. The gap would have been just under 9 seconds. It really is going to be the final corners. There might be one car of traffic. Too much grass there on the inside. But I don't think we're going to catch that car. Leader is about to finish the race. Carried more speed through there that time. I mean, could have carried more, but I didn't want to risk throwing it into the fence again. There they are, 4.5 seconds in front of us. Tidy run through that chicane. Oh, one car's made a mistake. Not the car we were hunting down. That will be P14. Now it's a chance at 13th. You can see how hard they're pushing. We're gonna have the acceleration, we're gonna have the power here. They pulled to the right hand side, but there's nothing that they can do. As long as we don't make a mistake here in the final corners. It'll be 13th place. They'll be locking up into the source for the last time. And on the final lap, we'll just creep into 47s as well. That was fun. That was fun. I mean, the main thing about these races is that they're fun. And yeah, that was certainly fun. That chase, that hunt at the end, that's always a silver lining when you make a mistake or get caught up in an incident and you're in a quick car and have good pace. You can just push, you're catching, you know, and you get moments like that where it literally comes down to the final few corners. Leader did send a fastest lap on the final lap, but was not quite into the 43s. Uh, yeah, what a fun race. These cars always good fun. Nice to be in the faster class too for once. I mean, it meant that, like, sort of comeback, was possible. Otherwise, yeah, definitely wouldn't have been. I'm glad we didn't have to go much longer in the stints because reset. The tire wear was starting to kick in. That was fun. That was fun again. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, let's see. We had just under a tenth in the first sector. That's some consistency there. Well, by 2/10, yeah, 2/10 in the final sector. So yeah, a little bit more time in the fastest lap. Two. Good fun indeed. But yeah, I suppose should show the results quickly. Ford to Maserati. 4 cars finished on the lead lap. Quite a few people had issues. There was us in 13th place, 1 lap off the lead. 21st to 30th. 31st to 40th. And then that's when we start getting cars that DNF'd. And there's a quick look at the final cars. Well, there's a couple more after that, but yeah, I'm not going to see them. And there we set the results. Yeah, good fun. Good fun indeed. Yeah, a little bit annoying with those mistakes, especially the first mistake. That cost us a lot because, of course, Assetto Corsa, it resets you back to the start of the lap that you're on. Of course, we were at the final corner. And so, yeah, that meant, the time resetting back to the pits as well, that cost us 4 minutes, a full lap, a little bit more than a lap, if anything. Yeah, the second mistake was a bit unfortunate. So it was. Yeah, again, just a little bit wide, gone to fence. We've got away with it, but then clipped the edge of the banking. And at that point, just on the grass, yeah, no control. And, with how high speed this track is, yeah, just the momentum not able to stop the car. Unfortunately, so sorry to the car clipped with that. Really unfortunate for them. But yeah, and then just got flung off the map with one of the other bankings. Yeah, that didn't cost us as much. We were only a couple of minutes into the lap. And that meant we didn't need a pit stop to get to the end of the race. So, yeah, we didn't lose too much time from the second mistake. The first one, though, definitely did cost us a lot of time. But yeah, good fun as always. Yeah, I look forward to whatever we have next. If there is another one between now and the end of the year, which I would assume there won't be, considering we are towards the end of November. But there might be some more Assetto Corsa races between now and the end of the year. Maybe on Tuesdays again. We'll have to wait and see. I know there is something planned. I don't know what is planned exactly. So depending on what is planned and yeah, we might be doing it. We'll see when find out when that plan is announced. But yeah, it might be next classic race might be Riverside 200 again next year. So it might be, which has been good fun the last couple of years. Though it'd be nice to have something different, I will say. It's nice to have the variety. Maybe another track that we haven't raced before, like today's one, indeed. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank you all for coming out, chatting a little bit. Thank you, Eddie, Artie, Dave, Dan, Amelia. Thank you all for popping in, chatting a little bit. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you to anyone that was lurking throughout stream and are watching the VOD back. Hope you all enjoyed that race too. If you want to get involved with SROL, I do have a Discord link to join the community. Join future races, Assetto Corsas on Tuesday nights, and the Mon Ultimate races to iRacing, some Automobilista 2 races, as well as some Richard Brown Rally and WRC club events as well on the rally side if you're interested in that. And who knows what else they'll add to their roster. But yeah, very good community. Very fun to take part in their races. So yeah, link is there if you do want to join. Because as you have seen, there are a few people saying they were joining for their first race, and I seem to enjoy it. But yeah, SRL, great community. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with the Mon Ultimate Will MS series in the LMP2 unrestricted car. We're going to be at Imola, which is a little bit funny because, of course, LMU put on the 4 Hours of Imola over the weekend. The driver swap test race, ELMS, which I did do. I did yesterday's late afternoon / very early evening, 2 p.m. UK time slot. Did that with Eddie, in fact, who was in chat a little bit earlier at least. It was good fun. First driver swap race on the Mon Ultimate. It was good fun. I was actually surprised. I was expecting worse when it came to driving standards. There were a couple of iffy moments. Did get spun round by GT3 in the first stint, but was kind of a bit unfortunate. Had to check up on the apex of Ravazza 1 to avoid another spinning LMP2 in front of us, and GT3 just a bit blindsided, couldn't check up in time. Was unfortunate. But yeah, recovered well, took P3 in that race. But it was good. But a little bit, I will say, a little bit of mild terrorism committed in that race, I must admit, to get that P3. But yeah, could have had P2 in that race had things gone a little bit better. But yeah, it's good. It was good fun, and yeah, kind of has me wanting to maybe do a couple more LMU races, a couple of the shorter ones. Don't know if I'll stream them or keep them as sort of a personal thing, but yeah, it's good fun, and it's good practice for tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have a good round, 65 minutes tomorrow, not 4 hours. But yeah, hopefully we can have a good final round in the championship, as it has been quite fun. Difficult, but fun. So yeah, hopefully you can have a clean round too with all that practice. But yeah, that's good. Thank you all very much for joining. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for that Le Mans Ultimate race. If not, I will see you next time, whenever the next stream is. Do you have a Friday series coming out that starts in December on the Mon Ultimate? I'll be in GT3, so yeah, have that to look forward to. That starts first Friday, I believe. Yeah, it's first Friday, which isn't quite next week. But yeah, again, thank you all very much for coming out. I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, hopefully I will see you whenever after that. Have a good good rest of your Sunday evening. Have a good Monday. If I don't see you on Monday, have a good rest of your next week as well. So again, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.